Hi, a lot of people ask us about profiles and they can't really work out which ones are the best ones to have based on their specific project. So I thought I'd give you a quick run through of our profiles as we have them, just to give you some guidance on it really. We have a Parma, the Emma, Rombo, Sara, Aria, Viola, Vera, Aura, Ziza and Nisa. Now all of these profiles can be applied to any of our material. We're not restricted as to which profiles. The important thing to remember with all profiles though that you want an angle on it depending on whether you're running it horizontally or vertically. So for example, if you're running cladding boards horizontally, then you need an angle to allow for rain and dirt to run off that, as opposed to a shelf that traps it. So for example, the Nisa down here, you would run this, is the most popular one for vertical applications because any rain and dirt can just run straight down the groove. Clearly if you had that horizontally, then you're creating a shelf here, which is not something that's, I mean you can do it, but it can just create a dirt mark going forward. But to give you some idea, the Parma is our profile where we apply a clip to it. So the clip, you would fix the bottom board, and then you drop the clip onto the top, screw that straight into the batten. You attach these again, you don't fit these really tight, you allow just a subtle amount of movement, and then the next board drops down on top. And you would start at the bottom when you're cladding and gradually work your way up, and just using the clips to install these as opposed to any face fixings. The Emma has also got a similar horizontal angled profile. The Rombo is a profile that you could effectively run horizontally and vertically. Clearly the angle will take you in a certain direction, so you could split that elevation and make it symmetrical, so you could run to the right on one direction and one to the left on another. The same with the Sara. It's typical tapered half lap board, and you've got the different profiles here so you can see how they latch, how they join to one another. That would also be horizontal. But when you get to products like the Aria, what we call a wide V joint, you could run this one vertically and horizontally. The same with the Vera, which is like a narrow V groove profile. That can be run horizontally and vertically as well. The Viola would also be a horizontal profile, and the Ziza is effectively just a half lap. It gives you the option of opening these boards up so that you could open them up to create a 5mm gap if you prefer, or you could close them right up to 1mm. So you have more flexibility there on the channel that you're creating, as opposed to the Nisa, which is a fixed 10mm channel effect. When it comes to finishing off on edges, you would normally have either a clean all round board, so that when you close off the cladding on the side and run that back to the window as a window reveal, you can close that off. If you don't do that, you could instead use the external corner trim just to close off if you're going around the corner with the cladding, so you can finish that off. So you have options there on a corner profile, corner trim. And a sill trim is another option for running along the bottom of your building. You'd fit the sill trim, and then the boards would then come down and sit on top of that. It just allows you the rain to run down the board. It hits this, and because it's got an angled profile here, then it deflects the water away rather than run straight down into onto the ground. And you can also apply this at the top of a window as well, so that if you're cladding above a window, then if you had one of those in place, then it would help deflect the water away from the window rather than run straight down onto the window frame. So you have a couple of different options there. We can apply any of our finishes, whether it be char, whether it be the thermochar or the Atier clad, using any of these profiles. We have different widths of board. So to give you an idea, in the ash, for example, we finish at 150mm wide. Then it comes down to 130mm, then 115, then 90, and then 40. The 40 creates a really nice ribbed effect when you're running it vertically in a Nisa profile. So for example, this one here behind me is a 90mm board. Obviously if you had that half, then you have it creates more interest because you've got a narrower board. So don't constantly try and have a wide board thinking that you'll reduce your labour time, because you you've got a wide board, therefore it's less to fit. You need to think about it from an aesthetics point of view, what looks the best. What you might save in labour is minuscule in comparison to the effect that you're trying to create. And the beauty of using all these thermo woods is that because they're so stable, it gives you far more design flexibility. So you can run different widths of boards of the same profile to create added interest as well. Or you could even run a board that's flat on a building and one that's sticking out to create a thin profile. So there's lots of different options, but that just gives you a general flavour of the types of material and profiles that we have.